Welcome everybody. It's always the welcome everybody that comes out really loud in the beginning. Welcome to Empowerment Point TV. My name's Debbie Small and I'm the founder of Empowerment Point. And welcome to Business Dining with Deb, Business Treats and Takeaways. We are on episode 3, Building Your Business with Events. And we've got some amazing event gurus here that we're going to talk to shortly as well. Just letting you know that you can watch our other episodes on my YouTube channel called Empowerment Point TV. And once we've uploaded this episode will be on there as well. So thank you for that. Now, I just want to introduce some very important people for our dinner party tonight. First of all, our sponsor, the amazing Chef Thomas Dam. Hello.
How are we?
Chef Thomas Dam.
Yes, please.
Chef Thomas Dam from Damn Good, DAMMGOOD.com.au. Now, thank you. Yum. Chef Thomas Dam. I've been dying for water. Chef Thomas Dam travels the world and travels Australia as well. So he does anything from really small intimate events like this one to really large events to everything in between. So you know what? For your events for the following year, give him a buzz. He's your man. I also would like to, thanks for that. I'd also like to let you know about our other sponsor for tonight, which is Clinton Weir. Hello.
Everybody, ladies, how are we?
Good. You can come in. We can see you.
Fantastic.
Oh,
yeah,
that's all right.
Mocktail.
No, that's all right. Now, Clinton, I've got a track sheet here so we keep on time. Now, Clinton is from pineapplejamhospitality.com.au. And he also travels the world and travels Australia-wide as well. So he also does functions that are huge, intimate functions like this one as well. So again, for your drinks, for your amazing drinks, private bartender, please give him a call and you won't be disappointed at all. In fact, you'll have a memorable night with both Chef Tom and both Clinton Weir. Okay, now just letting you guys know too. No, over here. Okay, thank you. Just letting you guys know as well that I'm going to post images afterwards of the food and drinks because everyone keeps asking me what they look like. So I will do a promo video for you as well, so you get to see what we get to enjoy and we get to love. I have a track sheet here, just letting you know, because these lovely ladies know so much about events that if I don't keep them on track, we're actually going to be asking both Clinton and Tom to make us breakfast in the morning. So I need my track sheet. I also have my good friend Nikki, who is behind the camera and also on Facebook, making sure to write your questions down and write your comments down. So please let us know that you're watching and let us know what your comments are. And any questions you have, please let us know as well. And at the end, we'll have a look that if there are questions, we'll answer them live for you as well. We've got these lovely ladies here, so let's do that too. Now, I just wanted to let you know why I created Business Dining with Deb, Business Treats and Takeaways. So I wanted to bring great experts with a lot of information to you guys, to business owners, which I think is really, really important to business people. And what a better way to do it than have fun at the same time. And I love food and drinks as well. So, you know, why not bring it all together and host a dinner party and have fun doing it, which is great. I also get to help small businesses like Chef Thomas Dam, like Clinton Weir as well, and like Anna and Josie bring their expertise and give value to you guys as well. So if you do want to contact any of these people, please feel free to do that. It'll make a really big difference, positive difference to your events as well. Okay, so just letting you know too that my business empowerment point is about making sure that you have solid foundations for your business. It's really, really important. You know, your business is like a house. If you've got solid foundations, you can make choices. You can decide whether you want to sell, whether you want to stay as you are, or whether you want to grow. But it's really hard when you don't have those solid foundations in place. And these ladies will agree with that as well when they run their businesses too. So for me, it's really, really important to have. So part of that is me making sure to bring topics to you that really make a difference to you in your business. And events is one of these things that, you know, You can grow your business with events, you can get your branding out there more, and you also get to help more people at once with events as well. So that's why I thought tonight would be a fantastic topic to actually talk about and to help you guys for the following year to have better events. And if you're watching this in 2020, you're going to have even better events in 2020 as well. Okay, I think it's time to start our dinner party.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, I'd like to introduce you to my lovely ladies over here, Josie, Kearsey. Why have you decided to do what you do? What do you do and why do you do it?
Okay, I run Klass Events and another entity called Secret Girls Business. And Klass Events is primarily an events company where I assist customer clients with their events, from anything from gala balls to fundraising. And
I'm making sure you can hear her.
yeah, I am very softly spoken. But I assist my clients with creating the events that they see in their mind and making it a reality for them. I do expos, I do anything where people gather. I'm there. I'll put my hand up for anything and I'll make it happen for you. Secret Girls Business is another entity, as I said, which is primarily women's events. They're women focused. We have women speakers. We have everything to do with the girls, you know, fashion, beauty, empowerment, you name it, we include it in our events. And what made me decide on this field of events is I'm Italian, so being Italian, I'm so at home here with food, drinks, company. Ever since I was a little girl, we would absolutely every Sunday fill our house with every person that said, I'm hungry. So they would come and we would feed them and we'd have social time and we would enjoy their company.
Banter around food is fantastic. It really is. I have to tell you, when I said to Josie I was doing this a couple of months ago, we were talking about it, and I said, I need to get you onto the show, and I'll give you a call once I'm doing it. She goes, no, don't call me. The answer's yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally feel at home. Thank you for the opportunity
that is my absolute pleasure.
To
Thank
share what
you for
I do.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anna,
Yes.
Osherov, please tell
Do
us.
I need the mic or do I just yell over there?
No, you and I are good
Amazing.
because we just need to speak loud and we're fine. It'll pick us up okay, just for Josie to make sure. But yeah, we're good.
Good.
I just wanted to ask you, what do you do and why do you do it?
I work with visionary leaders to take them from unknown to industry influencers through the power of live events.
Right.
And I came to it from a completely different spectrum. I studied communications and marketing and recently opened up a business event venue and saw people come through my venue. My dream was to teach marketing and thought they could come and run their own workshops and events. And what I quickly found was that unfortunately a lot of business owners just don't have the knowledge or the know-how in promoting and marketing.
Because they're not an expert in that.
Well, they're not an expert in that.
They're an expert in their field. Yeah.
Essentially what I find though with events, a lot of us are passengers when it comes to an event. So all we've ever done is we've known the journey from the time that we've bought our ticket and what's happened at the event.
True.
And so when people look to run their own events, they go down the same path. They go, well, I know I need to find a venue and then I need to set the date and invite people and give them a ticket and they'll come and we'll create a beautiful experience like we have here. But unfortunately, we don't remember how we got to the point where we bought the ticket. And that is the part that is missing for a lot of business owners who are looking to run events. So my focus is really on the event marketing and implementing that event marketing strategy into your business model and then rolling it out one event at a time so that we build our business with events. Yeah.
Can I tell you the wonderful thing too is that, you know, we're both the ladies I've got here are coming from a bit of a different perspective. So that way you guys are actually getting a lot more information as well from that perspective. Now, before we continue, and thank you ladies, I appreciate that, we're going to have a little bit of a show. So if we could pan over to Clinton, we're going to have a bit of a show to get our drinks.
Cool, thanks ladies. Well, I'm actually going to make you a nice little smoked passion fruit mocktail.
Oh, wow.
It's using a device I found online and we're making smoked cocktails and mocktails in this. So what I've added in here so far is a passion fruit puree, some fresh lemon, and I'm going to add in some more Italian sparkling water.
Perfect.
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 Works for me.
There we go. And then with the smoking gun, just get that inside. And my lighter, which is...
That's okay. We got.
It should be. Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I do have a lighter. I'm a bartender. Cool. And we'll get some... Just fill the sphere with some
Oh,
smoke.
wow.
We love the theatrical cocktail serves.
Can you
and
see that
mocktails.
properly? The theatre of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And look at that.
That is really
that.
cool.
While that liquid's absorbing.
Oh!
No, don't shake soda water. I was actually hoping for that to happen, but anyway. Cool. While that's absorbing some of the smoke, I'm just going to get some nice Navy strength ice into your glasses.
What's Navy
I have
strength?
no idea.
Navy strength is specialty made ice from a Melbourne company. They're absolutely fantastic, and we use this ice on all of our premium cocktail serves and kind of corporate events. It's fantastic ice. It's triple distilled and perfectly clear,
Wow.
and a little bit expensive, but that's all right. So now,
A little bit fancy.
look at that beautiful smoke coming out.
Oh, how cool is that?
And then that's number 2.
Oh.
And that's number 3.
Wow.
And it wouldn't be a delicious drink without a pineapple straw.
Oh, how cool is that? You can actually make more of those if you need to during the show.
Cool. No
I
more.
know.
It's,
I
pretty
just
much
thought it was
bottomless
gonna. I
cocktail
thought it was
jolly
gonna
that's
make a
happening.
lot of noise, but it's not too bad.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Ah. And they're paper straws too, right?
And the paper
Thanks,
straws.
Clinton.
Oh, wow.
So good for the environment.
Should be well balanced, hopefully.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, girls.
Enjoy, ladies.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone. Oh, here's the taste.
Oh, yum.
There
And
we
you
go.
can smell the smoke. That's
That's
delicious.
one.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
That's 2.
that's gorgeous.
That's 3.
Thank you.
Wow, that is pretty cool. So, guys, for your events for 2020, or for
That
your
is
any of your
awesome.
events for years to come, because this is going to be on YouTube, so who knows what year you'll be seeing this again. You can get Clinton Weir from Pineapple Jam Hospitality to make your drink. So we're actually drinking mocktails, because if we drink cocktails, you might not get the right information you're meant to get. So we're drinking mocktails, but once we finish, we're actually drinking cocktails. Just letting you know.
Just saying.
Okay, so just to let you know too, whilst we're actually drinking and talking at the moment, we're going to have Chef Thomas Dam from Dam Good, that's dammgood.com.au. He's going to be turning this table into a dessert table. So you can see what he's doing at the same time whilst we're talking, but it's going to be pretty amazing.
Exactly. Let's get started to make sure that everything is nice and clean. It's a bit of vinegar, because we are eating from this surface.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice and social thing to do. Everyone together,
Smell it.
it's a family or a group of friends that are really close, like kind of you can just share, and it's a very, very social way to really enjoy the last part of the evening.
Cool.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice. Let's do it.
Drinking food. So what have we got first?
Oh, first I put down pavlova.
You will get photos of this afterwards too, guys.
Yeah.
That's more a little German take on the classic Australian or New Zealand, depends where you're from or where you stand on that side of the debate.
And I have to tell you, we had pavlova. I don't know if it's exactly the same pavlova. We had pavlova on the last show, and oh my god, it was amazing that Eric from the last show was still raving about it last night.
So here we got some tonka bean cream.
Tonka bean.
Don't know what that is like.
What's tonka bean?
Tonka bean comes from South America. It's a bean, very small, very soft. And it smells a little bit like Armani or like amaretto, I would say.
Ah.
And Here's something prepared a little bit earlier. I like the smell on that one. These are tonka beans. The cream is infused with these tonka beans.
Does smell like amaretto.
It does. So it smells a bit like marzipan. Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
We don't have smell-o-vision yet.
We don't
does,
have taste-o-vision
actually.
either.
No.
Yeah, these guys want taste-o-vision, let me tell you.
Nice.
So, some little peach Kringles as garnish on top of it. No pavlova is done without fruit. That's what we're doing here.
Look how pretty that
That's
looks.
gorgeous. Very nice.
Sorry? Yeah, with a spoon. It's like one bite at a time.
Like,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
just imagining like,
You can use your fingers if you want
Please,
to.
yeah, please feel free
Yeah.
to have the olives while you're waiting.
Okay, now we'll wait for
And
the
I eat
pav.
the olives, that's what they're there for, enjoy them.
It's not table decoration, it's you can eat it.
The pav's looking mighty good.
I know you guys are here to listen to these girls, and we will start shortly, but this is an event in itself. And guys, I'm telling you that if you want a dining experience, whether it's a small group, whether it's even, I find in business that couples don't spend enough time on date nights. And what a perfect date night would this be?
Absolutely. I agree.
You want to pep up the relationship, go for it.
So the next thing here, we got some pistachio praline. Nice and crunchy.
Do we lick that or?
If you want to, go for it. It's all fine. I've
no,
known
Josie with a spoon.
you can do it. No.
With a spoon.
You can lick it with your tongue. I don't mind what you do.
My favorite recipe of a pistachio cake.
Wow.
I can smell that from here. That smells amazing.
It does. Wow.
You guys will get some too.
Some fresh raspberries with that.
Annie said she's salivating.
Oh, thanks, Annie.
Thanks, Annie. Should be here.
We are too, to be fair.
Oh, this is great. Thank you. We're all in awe.
I'm telling you, you've got to give these guys a call. You've got to have these guys to your events. They are both amazing. The drink is beautiful, and the food, wow, as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the next part is ruby chocolate. It's a
Oh.
kind of a sourish, naturally pink colored chocolate.
Wow.
Wow.
I made little charts out of that.
You have to
Some-
take photos before we start eating.
Yeah.
You just might inhale it all.
Sorry, I'm just wowed, guys. This is absolutely beautiful.
Here we have some raspberry cotton candy.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Little pink clouds.
Talking class here. Class. Sorry.
What's the name of your...
It just
This is-
slipped out.
This is only the first part of the dessert. The next one has like two different components. They interact very, very nice together.
So there's more
And
after this?
That's only half of it.
Oh,
half
wow.
of it.
Oh, wow.
The other
Probably
part
really
resonates very well with the cocktails, because at the end you will see they have something in common.
Beautiful. Yeah, apologies for the creaky floor. We do have a bit of a creaky floor, but it's all good.
Here we got some passion fruit curd.
Oh, nice. How good is that? That is awesome. Come back later.
We will get started in just a moment talking about events, I promise you.
But this is the thing, though.
This is an event about an event.
We
this
are,
is part of the
exactly.
event.
We don't have only just pink clouds. No, we have white clouds as well.
Oh, that is good.
This is a white chocolate mousse.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
This is filming all this? And it's getting all of it properly? Oh, good. I'm glad. Because this is just incredible.
We have some blueberries.
beautiful. This is just sublime.
I know.
It's like a picture being painted.
It is. He's an artist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here we
Goes
need some
perfectly
texture
there.
as well.
How did we know?
So we got some hazelnut praline.
Hazelnut. Oh, gorgeous.
You know, the great thing too is, you know, the drinks that Clinton has made goes perfectly with the desserts too. So it's just, I'm in heaven.
Absolutely.
Some coffee soil, which always goes fantastic, I think, with passion fruit and chocolate.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm so awed the track sheet is to keep me on track.
It's all right.
It's amazing. The smoky flavour stays in there.
Great, eh?
It's beautiful. It's that lovely aftertaste.
No dessert goes without a little bit of color,
And mint.
herbs and flowers, all out of my garden.
You can take it closer if you want to.
That is gorgeous. What a beautiful picture.
So, this is nearly done.
Nearly.
Nearly.
Done.
Nearly.
The last little thing.
There's more.
Oh, wow.
This is what the cocktail and the dessert have in common. We will use some smoke to smoke the white chocolate.
I just hope one day my fire alarm doesn't go off.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is awesome.
Careful the fire alarm. No, I'm really worried.
Well, hang in there with us.
I'm gonna open the door.
Wow.
I only turned the smoke alarm
awesome.
once on. And a half.
Let's hope it doesn't go off again.
So, here, this is the dessert table.
Oh,
A
Can you open
combination,
that back door, please?
Yes, ma'am.
a combination from two
Thank
desserts.
you. No, I'm really worried.
awesome. Thank you.
That is absolutely amazing.
That is
oh
beautiful.
my god.
Can't wait to taste.
Sorry guys,
Smells like a wood fire.
we're just opening the door so we don't set the fire alarm off.
Well, we choked to death, one or the other.
No, I'm just scared the fire alarm's going to go off. Can you open that even more, Clinton, please?
Excuse me. Oh, this is going to be wonderful.
It's alright, we can just have a rave when the fire alarm goes off. Dance and a boogie, alright.
So how do we eat this?
Okay.
To start the dessert table,
Yeah.
you lift the glasses off, and
Yeah.
the white chocolate mousse will be smoked enough.
Smoked
it just
it,
needs a
yeah.
little bit of smoke.
A little
The
bit
fat
more time?
Really takes the smoke on very well. And put the
Okay.
glass next to it, and then there is no rules. You just dig in, combine it as you wish. Start on one side, go to the other, go back and forth. That is what the social event is
Have
about.
you taken
This
your
is my
photos?
territory.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm making a line. Drawing a line in the sand. Literally drawing a line in the sand. There you go. Okay. Figure it out yourselves, girls.
Mine has a line through it already.
Once you finish that, you'll be really upset you put that line there.
Oh.
You'll want more.
Oh, sorry. Redo.
Okay,
fabulous.
ladies,
All
you
right.
ready?
Yeah, ready?
You this.
Oh,
Ready?
Are
And
you ready?
1, 2,
Do
3.
you want it before we do
No,
it?
it's all good. I
No,
got it, yeah.
good.
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Wow.
Oh,
That is so cool.
that is so good.
Okay, sorry guys.
Okay, so do we have a taste? I'm going to have a taste.
No, you're only allowed to look at it.
Oh, I'm allowed to look at it.
You're only allowed to look at it, you
Oh,
can't
dear.
taste. Enjoy, go for it.
Wow.
No, well,
No, rule, just go.
I'm going. Go. Oh, wow. So, what was the meringue? This one again?
Pavlova.
Pavlova. Sorry, mine's falling right off the dish. Doing good
That's
so
all
far.
right. Okay, guys, I think we're going to get started while we're starting. How's that? Are you all right? It's delicious.
Smoky
I always
white.
wanted
We
to
thought
do that.
tonight would, because we were talking about events, we'll have an event about events. So this is our event for tonight on events.
Carry on.
Okay, now, ladies.
Keep going. That is
Okay.
delicious.
Okay, guys. Now, I want to talk about, before you start doing the event, there are some things you need to think of beforehand. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is your objective. So tell me about your objective and what you mean by an event objective.
Very good question now. Well, hand it over to me. I think everybody wants to eat. So, I think it really depends. First of all, is what type of event we're running. An event encompasses a lot of different things. It could be a workshop, it could be a fundraiser. That's really tasty, isn't it, Deb? Yeah. It can be a fundraiser. It could be a trade show. We might be running a conference. So first and foremost, identifying the type of event will help to create some objectives around the event. It's really hard to explain this, but you're really enjoying the food.
Okay, go on.
No, I want you to eat.
No.
It's so tasty.
No, the objective of your event, that's one of the most important things,
It is,
because if
it
you
is.
don't get the objective right, the rest
Yeah.
of the event doesn't flow. So
Yeah, that's
go
right.
for it.
Thank you. So essentially, what I like to start with is to have a look at a pre-event success audit. What is the purpose of this event for us in our business? And what I find 99% of the time, I will ask this question because events are exciting, right? We want to run an event, we want to be there, we want to create something fun. And so we get carried away with the idea of all the fun things that it will bring to us and all the value we're going to give to the people in the room, or potentially in a fundraising situation to the organisation. But sometimes we forget about what is the purpose of this event for us in our business.
Yes, definitely.
And so identifying that is the most important thing. And it could be brand awareness, it could be around sales, it could be around marketing collateral for our business. You know, some businesses literally run events just to create marketing collateral for their ongoing, next 3 to 6 months, because you've got photography, videography, you can deliver a whole lot of content, and really it'll cost you less money than trying to do a marketing activity ongoing. Could be around giving back to your current clients and customers and, supporting them or giving them something back for being your clients, or it could be around cross promotion. It might be, bringing more people together to increase the databases of all the people involved. So
there's quite a lot that it could be. I was going to stop you for a second. Go on.
How do we go with the
You
dessert?
wanted to apart.
Well, one mouthful. Can't wait for this to be over. No, absolutely delicious. Well done. Thank
that's
you.
it. Glad you like it.
Thank you for spoiling us.
It's
Appreciate
amazing.
it.
Thank you.
We will be recommending you. Absolutely.
Okay, is there anything else we need to know in regards to the objective? So we need to look at, what we're wanting for our business. So what is the end result we're wanting? So we're wanting to increase our database, we're wanting to get visibility, are we wanting to sell products? It could be also a trade show as well, they're wanting to do things.
yeah, it could be positioning yourself as a authority, because that is a really great way. Stand on stage, instantly authority. Don't even need to say anything, just stand there.
Yeah.
And then back it up with something of value. But
Yeah.
yeah, really identifying that is the number one way to identify success.
Yeah. So for me, when I work with clients, their objective is obviously all those things that you mentioned. But the thing that I look at first, even before an outcome, is, are they prepared in the back end? Are they prepared with a database? Are they prepared for the outcome they think they want? Because if they're not prepared with a database to market to, well, then they can have the best outcome and plan the best outcome, but without that continuity of a database and that relevance of the database, well, then really they will...
So what do you say to people who say, I don't have a database?
Okay. Everyone has a database. Everyone.
In what way?
It can be in a shoebox, all these millions of business cards. It can be contacts that you've made over time, even on your emails. People that have sent you emails and you've bantered backwards and forwards. Everyone has a database. It can be 10 people, it can be 1,000, it can be 2,000. Everyone can collectively put a database together. So when they say, I don't have a database, I ask them to think again. They still say, I don't have a database. I say, think again. Look at who you've spoken to in the last week, the last month, the last year. Surely you've been to networking events. Surely you've picked up some business cards somewhere. And sure enough, they then begin to pull names out. Oh, I met that person, this person, the other person. So there it is. There's your database.
And most people just take those cards and put them on the side. I've been guilty of that as well.
Well,
I think the
that's
other
right.
part though is if somebody genuinely feels, because sometimes your database might not be the right database. So
Yeah.
in that instance, my conversation usually is, well, let's think about potential partnerships, joint ventures, other people that you're able to work with
Yes.
to be able to share a database. If you
I'm just going to
have-
close the door. Go on, keep talking, ladies.
Talk to me. I'll listen.
Keep talking.
if you have a non-competing partner who has the same target audience, then share the database, give something
Thank
to
you.
their audience, give them some free tickets, give them an opportunity to pitch their product at the event, however that might look. Really start to understand where your database is and who potentially has a database like yours, and then utilize your
Thank
social
you.
media, utilize your online marketing. Advertising can also help to build that.
So if you've been collecting business cards, how do you know your database? Thank you so much, Quentin. How do you know your database is the right database or not the right database?
Or by identifying who your ideal client is,
So
and who your ideal audience is.
So identifying who your ideal audience is, that's paramount when doing an
100%.
event.
Well, again, it depends on what type of event. So if you're doing a fundraiser, or if we want to, let's just say we're doing a marketing activity and all you really want to do is you want to showcase a full room,
Right.
then it doesn't really matter who's in the room, because your point is not to sell. Your point is to get some really great photography, videography, testimonials. So you want to fill a room with a lookalike audience.
Rent a crowd.
Yeah, rent a crowd.
Okay, well, what if it's just sell? Because I know a lot of people, what they do is we have events and we want to sell at those events. Whether we want to sell the product we have, or whether we want to sell a mastermind that we're doing, or whether we want to sell a retreat that we're doing, or whether we sell a course that we're doing, that's what a lot of people are doing as well. So how do we make sure we've got those right clients in the room?
And it is, again, it is looking at that database and eliminating the ones that
Okay.
you know are not going to buy into whatever you're selling or your client is selling. You don't want to fill a room just for the sake of filling a room, because anyone can fill a room, but in my case, if I'm working for a client, you can't just fill a room just to make it look good.
Well, I've
It's got-
seen it done before and it doesn't work.
No.
Because you get so many people coming in, but your return on investment or
Yeah.
your conversions are so low.
Absolutely. So you can, for example, do a survey to that database. Say you have 100 people on your database and you don't know what they're really interested in. So you can do a survey and just say, 5 questions, ask 5 questions that are relevant to that event and see who takes up.
So what would you ask? What are some of the questions you'd ask?
Oh, say for example, we're running, an event for, a presentation,
Yep.
a presentation course, how to present.
Right?
So we would ask the question, have you ever presented? Is presenting something you'd like to explore? So all the questions are based around that event. And so you get a yes or a no, and you'd be able to field out the people that are interested in that event.
I don't think people do enough of that. Ask their audience or ask their market enough questions
That's
to know
right.
what their actual needs are and what they want
Yeah,
before they do those
and
events.
I think even before we ask our audience those questions, really identifying who do we want to work with in that particular instance. So if we're talking specifically about business events, and essentially we're doing a sales strategy for a business event because
Yep.
we want to present
Yep.
and then we want to sell. Well, in that case, we need to really identify who is your target market, just like you would within your business.
Yeah,
Because the same people who are your target market in your business, or how I like to call them, your favorite customer,
Yeah.
really are delving into who they are, where they are, what their problems are, how you're solving those problems, is what's going to then be able to give you the information that you need in order to search for more of those people. So then you can
Exactly.
ask those questions. If it is somebody who wants to be a presenter, a speaker, a presenter, great. Well, if I am a presentation coach, then I have a specific market that I like to work with, because I'm not going to be the best presentation coach for everyone. So I might be a really great presentation coach for people who have never presented before. And so my target market are for people who have not presented but really want to, and are
Yeah,
searching
yeah.
for an opportunity to learn how to do that.
Exactly.
Great. If we know that, then we can start to delve a bit further into that. Who are those people? Where are those people? What do I do for that audience? And then what is the outcomes? What did they get? And what do they say about it? So the moment we start to then really drill deep into who those people are, then we can survey our database. You know, are you starting on your journey of presenting? We've worked with people just like yourselves to take them from, you know, never being on stage to delivering their very first, you know, 15-minute, 20-minute, an hour, 3-hour, whatever that looks like, event or talk or keynote. And then we can delve into, well, if you are a person that wants to speak, what stood in the way for you in the past. And then you're right, surveying your database will give you a lot more insight, not only into who they are and whether you should have them in the room, but also how to talk to them when they're in the room.
Exactly.
That's it. And that's why I'm really glad that I did this tonight, because I see a lot of events happen and people are focusing on the actual event, which we'll talk about that as well, but they forget the most important, which is the pre-part. Because without the pre-part, your event isn't going to be what it actually should be.
That's right.
Exactly.
How do they look at gearing up? Oh, first of all, just before I say that, are there any other things on the checklist beforehand they should be looking at?
I'm sorry, I have to.
No, don't be sorry. Go for it. That's what it's there for.
It turned into not a cloud.
Enjoy it.
It's right.
Go for it.
So,
is there anything else on the pre-checklist that they should look at that we really need to talk about?
one of the things that always works is, you know, comments. Leave us, for, you know, other comments. So then they can tell you what they're actually looking for. If this isn't the event that you're wanting to attend.
So looking at comments from past events.
Or, no, if you're running the survey, you're asking that potential client or attendee, you're asking them to tell you what they are looking for. So automatically there's a market there. They may say, look, I don't want to present on stage, but...
So your event might slightly shift of what it is because you're meeting the needs of your market.
Correct. However, you might have two events.
Yeah.
Correct. Two events.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're not thinking just that event and speaking presentation skills. You might be finding that someone needs to be able to have a sales orientated presentation. So selling and speaking from stage. So it creates two types of events.
So doing these surveys is an amazing way to really create more business for you.
Exactly.
And understand your audience
Well, that's
better,
it,
to
exactly.
talk to them more effectively. But I think with your question around what do we need to do pre-event altogether. So we've talked about looking for the purpose of your event.
Yes.
We've talked about your audience.
Yes.
But really you're talking about planning your event before you start to actually go down the
That
path
as well. That as well.
running the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'll let Josie start with the plan because I know that she's been doing this for a long time and has some great suggestions.
Look, the planning of the event is the middle part. So the first part is exactly what we spoke about, which is working out who our database is, working out who our ideal client is, surveys. And this has to start, if you want an event to run, say, the beginning of the year, you've got to start 6 months ahead. You can't, you know, start planning the first part, the preliminary part, you know, 2 months before, because that's just not, the time frame just doesn't work. So 6 months before, you start to get all these other things in place, the questionnaires, the you know, your landing pages, and all of that has to be put in place. So by the time you get to the planning, you already know what it looks like. So as far as planning an event, it has to involve the venue, the size of the room, the obviously the catering, the who's speaking, the audio, who's videoing, who's photographing, all those logistical things.
Yeah.
The catering, how are we going?
I haven't got very far because I've been
You
doing
haven't
that.
got very far.
But I
It's
can't
really,
wait.
really good.
It's really good.
It's great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no,
Fantastic.
thank you for that.
Any favorite parts of it?
All of
I
it.
haven't tried the
All of
pavlova yet.
The pavlova's beautiful. It's absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. What was that again?
A smoked white chocolate mousse.
No,
with coffee, so.
that's incredible as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
all good.
That's really good.
Oh,
Glad you like it. That's great.
yeah, thank you.
Let me clear it a little
Does
bit.
everyone have drinks?
I can't get the pavlova off the... Oh, there we go.
So the planning part involves working backwards. You work backwards from the moment you finish your event. So if you finish your event at midnight, you plan it backwards. So
In what
your
way do you
timeline-
mean that?
So on the day of an event,
Yeah.
as an event manager,
Yeah.
I work backwards. I timeline everything from midnight to start time. So midnight lights out, and then bump in, bump out.
You mean the run sheet?
The run sheet, yeah,
You compile from the end of the event.
and
Well, so
working the
how
other
long
way.
is it going to take to bump out? Bump out means pack everything up.
Pack everything up.
Bump in
leave.
means put everything together.
Put everything together. So
Yeah.
I allocate times, and I work backwards, because sometimes if you work from the start to the finish of the event, for me it doesn't work. I don't know why, it just doesn't work. So I work backwards, and I find pockets of time that on my run sheet I can have as my emergency time.
Buffer time.
Buffer
So
time.
when you're going backwards, we're doing bump out, which is, packing everything up. Sorry. What other things do you look at to put on that run sheet going backwards? So what have you got after bump out?
After bump out, we go home.
No, before. No, I'm working backwards. I'm working
Okay,
backwards.
so bump out. Okay, so music has to
Before.
finish. Music has to finish at a certain time. We have to
Okay.
be aware where we are and what the noise levels are, and what is acceptable within that building and within. Say, for example, if you're in a hotel, like we were a couple of weeks ago, we had to be mindful to have all music stop at 10:30 because
of
there
the
were
guests.
guests. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're in a big venue, it doesn't matter because everything's quite protected. So the walls are protected. So when the music finishes, when the exhibitors start to pack up and leave the room, and that's important too because
Exhibitors take a lot of time to pack up, I know.
and they start early.
I've been one.
They do start early.
They do start early, which gives an indication to all your audience, all your guests that it's time to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's only 10 o'clock. But Mary bought 6,000 boxes with her, so she
That's
has to
right.
make 6,000 trips to her car.
Just to let you know what Josie's talking, when she does events at times, like there's dinner and everything else happening and music happening and speakers happening, but around the side there are exhibitors as well. So it's an all-in-one. So there are
It is.
exhibitors as well, and exhibiting, I've done this as well. It actually, the pack-up time and the putting everything in, it does take a little bit of time. Even though you've got a strategy and you've got you know what you're doing, it still takes a bit of time to do. And especially someone who's got a lot of little products as well, that takes longer too.
Takes time. But see, what you don't want to create is the atmosphere. Well, you don't want the atmosphere to change and people think, oh, it's time to go now. And when there's really a whole hour left,
So how do you do that?
I give my exhibitors a run sheet and they know when to pack down, and they're actually told, do not pack down before this time. And that way everything works succinctly, everything works together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are packing up and people are leaving, going to cars, and it just sends the wrong message.
Yeah,
So even when I work with clients, that's exactly what I do. If they have exhibitors or if they have auctions at a fundraising event, etc., we make sure that everything works in blocks.
Okay, so you've got the exhibitors, and then what have you got before that?
Packing down, there's dancing, as I said.
Okay.
So the dancing, we want to make sure that everyone's had a really good night. So the dancing, the music has to stop at a certain time. So the music person calls it last dance, last two dances. So everybody starts to then to understand it's time to start winding down. So then, as we go back into the event, you have all the other things that you've included: someone singing, someone speaking, a fashion parade or not, live auctions, etc., raffles. So all of these components have to be timed and they have to meet the start time.
Okay.
So it's always good to work backwards.
I just have to say, talking about time, I just have to say this. Do you have a watch on?
I do.
Can you see it?
Well, kind
Is
of.
there any chance? Is there any chance you can take it off for me?
Yeah, right, sure.
I always have a watch sitting with me to watch time, and tonight I totally forgot.
There you go.
And if I don't watch time, these guys are making breakfast for us.
Do you know what
Thank
was
you.
Gee,
interesting
thank you.
about
That'll be
that whole
terrible.
conversation?
What?
And I guess there's the difference between, like, my expertise is not event management.
Right.
So when we think about what do you do in the pre-event,
Yeah.
or the planning of the event, the run sheet and what happens on the day for me comes so much later. So when I say planning, or first what's really interesting is if we're talking about building a business with events, the very first thing we need to do is have real clarity around our business, right? And that's where we were talking
Yes.
about our database, our target market, around what the outcomes are, what are we going to sell. So first of all, we need to make sure that we've got a solid business foundation.
Yes, yes.
Then so that's clarity. Then we need to look at the planning. So planning your promotion strategy, planning your communication strategy, planning your logistics strategy. What is
Okay,
it?
so planning your promotion strategy. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that for a bit.
Okay.
So what would you do?
So, again, it's around first and foremost understanding who our audience is and where they spend their time.
Yeah.
Once we've understood that, then we're able to identify what channels we want to be communicating with them through.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at social media. We're going to be channeling through LinkedIn. Are we going to look at Facebook? Are we going to look at flyers? Are we going to look at TV ads? What are we going to look
What
at?
are we going to look at?
So it
That's
depends
right.
where the audience hangs out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even, you've lost my trail of thought.
You said you were saying how we're talking promotions, and you're saying
Yeah.
how they're going to look at what channels.
That's right. You said, yeah. So really, what is our communication strategy? So what's our event about? What are we going to be delivering at this event? Are they going to be outcomes? So I look at it as a vision, mission, and intention of your event. So who is this event for? What are they going to be doing at the event? What are going to be the outcomes for the event? And you really create that initial communication before you even look at your promotion, because then you've got real clarity around what is the event called, what is your call to action for the event, what is your presenter bio if you've got, or if you've got multiple speakers, what's their bio, what is your business all about. So what we did at the very start of this event, and this is actually a really great opportunity to talk about it. So we got here, and Deb, before we even started this, when we first started to have these conversations, Deb came to us and said, I'm looking to start this thing, and then she gave it a name.
That's right.
Yep. So she gave
Yeah.
it a name, then there was how it was
Business
going to
dining
work.
with Deb, business treats and takeaways.
There you go.
And
Right.
cocktails.
And
And
cocktails.
cocktails.
Yeah. And then as it went through, Deb created an image for what the event is going to look like. So when you see the event on social media, it always has the blue background and it has the same font and the same
Can
writing.
I just tell you, I went to and just in regards to the image, I went to a New Year's Eve party
Yep.
at Docklands. And I was taking different, when the fireworks were happening, and all I saw was city lights, and I love city lights. So I was taking photos this way. And in the back of my head, I thought, I may use these for something. So now, one of those images, because I love city lights, is what I use at the back of all the images now. So you can see exactly, and you know what it is. It's
That's
consistent.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because every time you have your event,
I
it's
use
going to
the
have the
same
same image. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've planned that, right? You've got your copy around what it's about, what it's called, and what is the purpose of it. You talked about it. The first thing you did was introduce the segment
Yes.
and use that communication about what it's for, what's going to be the outcome. So all of that has to be done before we even look at how we're going to promote it, because then we need to create all those bits of communication to fit into the right channel. So whether it is Facebook or LinkedIn or a flyer or a commercial, you need to create the right type of.
And my market for this, because it's business owners, is across the board. So I've actually put an entire marketing schedule together, which runs, there's a pre, there's a during, and there's an afterwards.
Yes.
For the entire, and the whole thing runs for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So,
Right.
and it's across all channels.
And I think that's the other thing with Josie, when she was saying we work backwards, like when you said backwards from what, and then you go home, well, you don't go home because you go home on the night, but then you've got all of that follow-up, right? So after the event,
Exactly.
so many people finish an event and they go, oh,
So
that was
glad.
done. Oh my God, I have people in the room. It's really exciting. I'm really tired. I'm done. And then we
There's
leave,
a
like,
lot of post work after.
80% of business happens in the follow-up, especially
Exactly.
if it's a sales event.
So what would you
Exactly.
do for the follow-up? What does the follow-up include for you guys?
Follow up for me is sending out thank you emails. Just being grateful really for their attendance, and
I've
Also-
gone into your square, sorry.
See, she
Deb?
had a really good line through there.
I had a
Deb.
good line.
She
I
drew
did it
twice.
clearly. You sure there's no alcohol?
You should eat.
So, what was the question?
We were talking about the follow-up. So
The follow-up,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So an email
So you send
goes
emails.
out, or something on Messenger that I can, personally send to key people that attended or participated. And I think that people don't do that.
No,
They don't do that.
People too. And you know what? It even goes beyond that. When I speak to
people
my
forget.
clients, well, yeah, people just they don't think about it. It's not forget. They just don't think about
Yeah.
the fact that you need to do it.
Yeah.
Because most people aren't negligent on purpose, right? Especially we want our events to be
They
successful.
don't realise they need to do it.
That's right. But it's also, so when I speak to clients, I say we need to follow up with the people that came along, thank them for coming along, remind them what was the purpose of them being there, and then nurture them through to a potential sale if that's what it's for.
Yeah.
But also follow up with the people that didn't come along. Tell them you missed them. Tell
That's
them
right.
that,
A lot of
you had
people
a
don't
really-
do that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people
Tell them
don't.
you missed them. Tell them what they've missed. Invite them to whatever you've got coming up next. And then follow up through all of your social media. So create that social proof. Create that FOMO for all the people that are like, oh, I was really wanted to go to that. I missed it. It looked like it was really good. Well,
Oh, well.
next time. And then put them on that list of
That's right.
next time.
So I do that in the way that I do a promo video for afterwards. I cut some of this out, and I also
Great.
do a promo video for the food and the drinks afterwards
Great.
as well. And I also do. There's a lot of on Facebook celebrate and wins. So on those groups, I put different posts in regards to celebrate and winning what we've done tonight.
Sounds good.
100%. And that is your social proof and your FOMO and your
Yes,
follow-up, right?
exactly.
But also too, people should be taking photos within the at the end of at the end of an event, you see people there taking the videos or taking the photos, and then that goes straight out on social media. Or during, even last night we were at an event and people are taking videos during it and
Live
photos during it.
social media
And
during
live
events
media
is
was being
amazing.
used and photos
Yeah,
were being used and
yeah.
everything was being
And
used
we
straight
can,
away.
the thing is you can encourage all of that. So again, in that whole pre-process, if that's what we would like to think about, we can encourage people. So you let them know that there's hashtags. You let them have a photo booth session.
That's
you
right.
encourage people to do live videos. It's just it's all in that initial
Yeah.
planning of what you'd like to really achieve for the event.
I'm going to bring us back for a moment to the actual event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we were speaking, we were talking about things like smell, sound, feel, taste, and hear.
Curating the experience.
And it's all really about the experience because, even like tonight, we're having an amazing experience with our drinks and with our food, which all adds to the journey
The
as
journey,
well.
yeah.
So, what are the things in business events that we can actually look at for smell? Let's do one at a time. For smell, what can they do?
Have a shower. Like,
Step one.
step one, have a shower.
That is actually really important.
Okay.
Nobody
Well, it
wants
is.
to walk into a room and be like, time. We can use a diffuser.
Yes.
Or diffuse. So I like to use rosemary in my workshops because rosemary empowers your memory to remember better. And
I need a
opens
whole
you up
bunch,
to
babe.
be-
I need a whole bunch.
There's some people who specialize in essential oils that will create scents
I like vanilla.
specifically for your event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can get.
There is,
you
there
can
is.
get-
But I worked at a venue where we had spray, and once the venue was set for the event, we walked around with spray,
Yeah.
and it just brought this beautiful smell in the room, and it lingered. So when people walked in, it just, I don't know, it just
It makes
was
a
so-
difference.
It just
100%.
made a difference. They could smell something, but they didn't know what it was, and it was so
I don't know if
subtle.
you've noticed, Chadston Shopping Centre has smelt the same for the whole time I've been going there since my very first job. I
Right.
walk in and it still reminds me
Yeah.
of my very first job. And scent is such a powerful memory trigger that some places, specifically like casinos, use a scent so that anytime you smell that scent, well, they can't
So
do that anymore.
I know the audience is probably asking this. Is there a buying scent? Like we'll buy from you.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is.
There is. You just hold
You see,
up.
I asked the question, but I didn't think there'd be an
Well,
answer.
there is. Like if you hold out a handful of $100 bills and you go like that, and they smell that.
Are you sure it's got alcohol
So
in
do
it?
I take that as a no?
No, not that I know of. If there's anyone out there,
But
tell us.
I would go to a person. I think it depends on what it is that you're selling. Because if you're, say, having a lingerie party, you'd like to have a different smell than Subway. Subway has a smell. That's their
Definitely.
brand smell.
They do.
It
Definitely.
smells the same everywhere around the world. And that's not because of the buns that they're cooking. It's because they actually release that smell into their stores.
It's not the buns.
No, it's not. It's
not
like
the buns.
Pavlov's, it's like Pavlov's dogs. It makes you remember that is...
I thought it was the buns.
No.
Not the buns.
No. Purposely
Well,
created.
it works.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think there is
Wow.
a selling smell. It just has to go along with what it is that you're...
Selling.
I'm sure that there is a selling smell for dessert. You walk past something and it smells like sugar. You're like, I want to buy that.
Yeah,
that-
we do the same with lots
Yeah,
of things
yeah,
for
that's
smell
right.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the drinks as well.
Yeah, when it
Yeah.
garnishes everything, it creates
Great.
more sense.
Okay.
It works on your sense.
That's right.
And you just
Well, let's go to the
triggered.
next sense then, which is sound.
Music.
Yep.
But music is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I run one of my own events, I always say to the DJ, I don't want any dead sound.
Yeah.
And he says, dead?
Right.
Like, I don't want pockets of no music where,
Mhm.
you know, there's just dead silence and then people are just trying to, you can hear them talking.
It's the worst.
I want ambience right from the minute they arrive to the minute they
Yep.
leave. It's got to be about
Yep.
the ambience. I pick the music. I make sure
Yep.
that the music suits the event and it suits
That's
who's
right.
walking through the door.
That's
There's no
right.
use putting on the little hip hop stuff if these women are coming to have afternoon tea.
No.
It just doesn't work.
No.
And being a musician, I'm very fussy about the music that gets played. So
Yeah.
the music has to be right, and the level that it's played at, the volume that it's played at, has to be right. If it's too loud, people automatically shut down. I know I
Because they
do.
can't talk.
I can't talk, so it just shuts them down. If it's too soft, it's like it just creates that. I can hear something, but what is it? So it's got to be right. The decibels have to be right, and that's part of the planning.
And I find also in business events, when they're taking breaks or to bring people back from the breaks, they've got a
Yeah.
lot of loud music on to really get the crowd up and going.
Yeah, a
and
really
wiped
good
up.
trick I've learned, because sometimes it's really hard to bring your audience back from a break. And what works really well is in that dead sound. If you turn the music up slowly as it's coming to the end of the break, and then turn it off just as you want people to come back,
Yes.
that switch in
So they come
sound
back
and
a
no
lot quicker?
sound. Yeah, they pay attention, because there's nothing worse than
Okay.
yelling at your audience, right? There's nothing worse than going,
Oh.
guys,
No.
it's time,
No.
come back, or, you know, clap twice if you hear me clap. So using music can really help to bring your audience attention straight back to you.
Yeah,
And when people are doing exercises, have the right type of
exactly.
music that will support that at the right volume. So massive unknown factor in creating a really great event experience is having the right sound at the right time.
Okay, so
Exactly.
also you talked the right feel. Tell me more.
The right feel, for me, it's from the minute someone arrives and who welcomes them. The right feel is if someone walks into an event and there's no one there to greet them and welcome them or to make them feel that they're in the right place, a very different tone to the event. So the right feel has to be someone greeting them, checking their name,
It's making them feel important.
and feel that they are the only person that's coming to that event, apart from the other 300-400 people that are coming. So there's a skill in that,
Yeah.
and there's a way to do that. And sometimes with some of the events I create, or my clients create, you know, that's one of the things that I do ask, and I say, who's actually meeting and greeting? Who's on the registration table? What are their personalities like? What are they?
That's really important. What's their personality like? You've got to have the right people at that registration table.
Absolutely, absolutely, because they set the tone for your event.
What are they doing?
Or your client's event.
Yeah.
And if they're just sitting there, your name, yeah, right, yeah, okay, here's your lanyard, see you later. It's got to be a scripted welcome. And people walk in and they say, hi, welcome to such and such event. Oh, tick, I'm at the right event, great. What's your name? Okay, look it up. And, oh, look, welcome, Anna. This is your lanyard, this is your workbook. You'll just go around the corner, then someone will take you to your seat. It's all that extra conversation that adds that touch of class, if you will, to that that initial feel that you want them to have, that experience. It adds to the experience.
100%. And I think what's really important is to create that feel for your team before the event starts.
Yes, definitely. People forget about their staff. Their staff are the most important because their staff are the ones dealing with their customers.
Thank you, Deb.
That's right.
Well,
But you're right. It's
that's
very
what
true.
it is.
Having a starting of an event meeting to get everybody on board, you know, hey guys, you guys are looking after the registration table. But yeah, like, you know, you're looking after the registration table. This is what we would like to have happen at the registration table. These guys are, and so that everybody knows what's happening too. People at the registration table know that when these people walk in the door, there's going to be somebody that's going to greet them and then take them to a seat, right? And so that these people can say, here's blah, 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 just go through there, someone will meet you there.
So one of the go on.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
just as important as welcoming your guests or your client's guests to an event so is the exit.
Oh,
Okay, I'm big on standing at the door and just saying, thank you for coming. Hope you had a nice evening, and just letting them leave feeling really like the whole thing's now had a top and a tail to
And they say the beginning of something's really important in the end because people remember the beginning and the end.
That's right.
So if you can make both of those memorable, really memorable, and the rest of it as well, but those really memorable too.
yeah. Interestingly enough, I had a client who is an engagement specialist, a corporate engagement specialist, and part of what we discussed pre-event was, instead of making the audience really comfortable at the start, the idea was to make them really uncomfortable at the start, so that they walk in and they don't know where they're sitting, and no one's really given them the right opportunities to give them name tags, to tell them where they need to go, to really create disengagement
And the reason behind
and
that was?
uncomfortability, to then create engagement and to show the difference between what it's like in a corporate environment when you've got a team that's not engaged and not looked after, versus what it's like when a team is engaged and is looked after.
So was this some sort of corporate team exercise to get the team to understand the difference between the two?
It was to get the people who would like to learn how to engage teams to understand the difference between the
What
two.
a great idea.
Yeah.
So they had an experiential journey learning exactly the differences.
That's right. So, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
creating the
impactful.
feel is really, again, what are we looking to do? There's so much you can play with when it comes to an event. Really, like, curate the full experience, because we're hardwired to only remember.
And the next one, which you ladies are enjoying too, is taste.
Yes.
So let's talk a bit about taste.
Well,
You talk, I'll eat.
sure.
Eat.
Taste. Okay. There's nothing worse than having created an event and the food just does not stack up. And
I've had that before.
or
and no, it's
not
good.
enough food. I'm Italian, okay? So food is a thing for us. You have to over cater to make sure that no one leaves hungry.
European. Yes.
Yeah. So, so I always make sure that even if I have to, spend some spend some of my profit, I will always make sure that we have enough food.
Yeah.
We just did an event 2 weeks ago where there was a 3-course meal and there was so much food. So much food, because I went in and I said, look, it's my reputation, I'm Italian first and foremost, but secondly, I want these this client to be impress them, because they'll come back and guess what? They've already booked again for next year.
Oh wow, how cool.
Okay, because they overextended themselves. The venue overextended themselves, and they did prepare beautiful meals. And the taste, and that was one of the comments that we had right across the board. The food was absolutely delicious, top class. I keep saying that, sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's not intentional.
But even on a smaller scale, you know, you can have mints on the table, and there's different types of mints.
Yes.
Because you don't want to have mints where people put their hands in
No,
there.
No,
I've
no,
seen
no,
that
no,
before.
no, no,
But
no.
then also you don't particularly want to have things that are too chewy, so that people get stuck in their teeth.
Or break
so
their-
you know, there's so much, all the little intricacies to think about when it comes to your event. And even if you're not catering the event, so let's just say you might have a light snack, let people know that they bring their own lunch, whether they can heat it up or whether they can't heat it up, whether they need to go and sit outside, or there'll be lunch available down the street. So really making sure that
Yeah.
people's natural desire to need to eat at some point.
I was invited to attend an event, and they sent me the they sent me this event program,
Yeah.
and it did specify that you weren't to bring any spicy foods. You know, please be aware. You know, please don't bring anything spicy, as it may. The smell might permeate once you open the lid.
There's another bit coming.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I'll
and
talk
sometimes
quicker.
people are, you know, allergic to nuts or peanuts.
Correct.
That's actually airborne. So
That is
I've made that mistake before.
That's
serving
really,
peanuts.
really important. I went to a training with a friend of mine, and they had mixed nuts, but they had no signs on it. And so she's eating some of the mixed nuts, thinking there's no peanuts. She had a quick look, no peanuts. So we're sitting down, and she looks at me about, I don't know, 20 minutes into it, and she says, I've got a weird taste in my mouth. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't put the two together.
Oh, wow.
And suddenly she looks at me and says, I think maybe I should take my tablet. She said, I'm not feeling well. I said, take it now. And the whole thing, she basically, there were peanuts in there, and she started to choke up a bit. And thank God she took the tablet when she did, because that basically saved her. And then apparently red wine works, so we went through a bottle of red wine after.
Any excuse, Steve, any excuse.
I'm not the one who said it, but it was good.
And allergic to peanuts, have red wine.
No, she took the tablet first, so that's what really worked.
Oh, wow.
Now, guys, I'm going to move us forward because we've still got quite a bit to talk about and not a lot of time. Now, we also talked about building relationships within, so having your attendees build relationships. So tell me a bit about that.
So I guess it's around creating a group within your environment. People that are combined and feel like they're part of a community or a tribe will be
that's true.
really engaged with everything that's happening, especially if we're at a facilitated workshop. We want people to be able to work together. We want people to be able to share knowledge or use the brain's trust to really engage with each other, because nothing is more effective than your audience getting to know each other, especially if you're on, if you want to make sales. If you've got a room full of people who have now bonded, and we can encourage one person to buy, the others are going to feel compelled to follow, because we've now created a group mentality. And the best way to do that is to facilitate discussion between people, facilitate networking, encourage questions, encourage people to talk to each other. And unfortunately, what we want to do, we feel the need to constantly give information. We want to just give as much information as possible and talk at the audience.
And also, too, when you foster a community, you get to build that community and grow that community, and then you've got that community really working for itself.
That's right. And your community can answer questions for your community.
Yeah.
Forums are fantastic. Like online forums are a really great example of that.
And also a lot of Facebook groups are really good for that. People will just answer each other
That's
as well,
right.
which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So we talked also about social proof and following up as well. So comments, photos, videos. People will post their event or your event organically as well, which is important. Now what I'd like to talk about is something that's a really big thing for people is how do we get bums on seats? So that's what I really want to talk about. What are some of the things we can do to really get bums on seats?
I get Josie to start. She's got a really great tip here. I love that whole concept.
Go for it.
Yeah, the age-old question of getting bums on seats. Events are getting harder and harder every single day. I have just in my own Facebook inbox, I have so many
Just making
So-
sure. Is
so
it
many
okay?
invitations to so many events. Which one do you choose? You don't have time to read what every event is all about and will it suit, etc. It's just the market is so flooded
Saturated.
and saturated,
And it's just growing.
and it's growing. Everybody, sorry, but everyone now thinks they're an event expert.
Yeah.
Everyone can go on Facebook, create an event, invite a whole bunch of people, and 3 or 4 people in the room. That's an event. We're not talking about those events. We're talking about events that are, bums on seats, substantial bums on seats with your target market or your client's target market sitting in that room, either listening and learning or listening, buying and advancing from there. So bums on seats, you got to kind of start now super early. If you want an event in, say, April, you got to start like November.
So you were saying really give 8 weeks leeway.
There's an 8-week leadway.
Yeah.
Josie, the thing that I've loved that you said, you're saying about early bird tickets and how
Yes,
you're able
yes.
to tell just by how many early bird tickets you sell
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
the event's going to fall or not.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
was mind blowing for me.
Yeah, that's right. So here's an event.
Thank you.
So here's an event. You generally leave eight to 9 weeks
Right,
for the
right.
marketing, etc. And that's not preparing your website or preparing your marketing.
Just to let you know, this is the ideal. We can't always do this because sometimes, we want our event to happen in a month's time. But there's a lot of tips here that you can still utilise within
Yeah.
your business, even if it's for a shorter amount of time. But this is the ideal.
The ideal is you're out by 8-9 weeks and you have all your marketing done before that, all your Facebook messages, all your your website already done,
Like pre-prepared to go.
all pre-prepared.
Yeah.
So you hit the deck running at the 8-9 week mark. Okay, so people start to get the message. Now I always gauge, and have done this forever, I always gauge how successful an event is going to be, and give me an idea. It gives me an idea of how many bums on seats I'll have by the first week and how many registrations I receive.
You also give an incentive, don't you?
I do give an incentive. I do give an early bird incentive, and that helps gauge again by the purchase of tickets how many are going to actually respond and
then
who
you-
responds.
And then you times it by about 3, yeah? And that's what
Yes,
you push.
that's exactly right. I times that amount by 3. So, for example, if I run an event, I'm running an event in February,
Right.
February 27th for International Women's Day, Metamorphosis. So already I have got a whole bunch of women that have said that they are going to attend. Now, when I say bunch, I've got at least 10 to 15 already. It hasn't even gone live yet. Okay, so if I times that by 3, it's starting to give me an indication of how many people by the end of the event campaign will be in the room.
So what are the types of incentives that you give in order to get that
Okay,
early?
VIP
Right?
tickets.
So what's a VIP ticket?
VIP gives them access, say, for example, to a speaker or to the main speaker, or it might give them, an exhibitor's booth at half price. I
They
create
might get to
Or
go
a
in
lunch.
first,
They
or
might get to go
lunch,
in,
they get to
front
sit at the
seats.
front seats,
Yeah.
or sit around the edge.
Right.
Those are the
Bring
type
a
of
friend.
Bring a friend, or I might say for other events, I might include, say, bring 2 friends and your ticket is free. It depends on the event.
And
It
how
depends
long
on-
do you run your early birds for?
Okay, the early bird is if it's an
It's a
8-week
question I get
campaign.
asked all the time.
Yeah, you want to run it for at least 4 to 5 weeks.
Right.
Okay, and you've got to factor in all the other things that are happening in between. And it's how diligent you are to remind people of your event.
Now, when you're saying factor everything in between, what do you mean?
Well, there's your
Oh, I
client.
didn't mean to do it that way.
That's all right. That's
That
okay.
was great. I loved it. It was like, this is what we're talking about.
We've
We're
all
all
got acrylic
European,
nails.
we're
Oh
talking
my
about
gosh, I'm so restricted. I've got this mic in front of me. But what was the question? No. So all the things that are in between, like life happens.
Okay, fair enough.
Life happens. So birthdays, anniversaries. Oh, forgot someone's
Well,
going
careful
away.
with the nails. They'll be
Yeah.
able to hear all your nails on there. I just realised.
So what we have to factor in is a clever marketing strategy, so that you're not, overlooked.
So you're saying, let's say 4 or 5 weeks early bird tickets, and then you do a weekly countdown. So only 3 weeks left, only 2 weeks left,
do
only
that.
1 week left.
Yep.
We make sure that we tell the people that exactly what they're going to get as part of their early bird, and that is really
Correct.
clear.
Correct.
And really push those sales as much as possible, so that ideally, by the time early bird finishes, you've kind of covered your expenses.
Exactly.
So then you're not quite so
And
stressed
that's what you really,
for
really want
the,
to do. Yeah.
for the remainder
Exactly.
of the ticket sales. You can push them, but
Yeah.
you are at a much,
Yeah.
yes, slightly calmer space.
calmer waters.
Yeah.
But that's the whole, and even with the early bird, sometimes people might ring post early bird, and they'll say, "Oh, I missed the early bird." So I'll say to them, "Okay, you missed the early bird. Are you coming alone, or are you bringing someone?" No, I'm coming alone. So I'll give them an incentive. Look, if you can bring a couple of others, I'm happy to honour the early bird
Right.
price.
Right.
So
I was going to ask how
Incentives.
diligent
it's
are
just
you
incentives.
with cutting off the early? Because I've seen some people extend early bird because obviously they didn't
So, but
get
I
the
like
sales.
this. I like what Josie does because for one person, I'm sorry, it's closed. But if you're able to do this,
Yeah.
we can help you
Yeah.
this way. So
This
they're more
way.
apt to go. You know what? I do have a couple of friends that want to go to this event. Let me see if I can actually organise that.
Yeah. Or sometimes, based on the season or based on, if the tickets have been a little slow in coming,
Yeah.
I might extend the early bird
Yeah.
and just put up, early bird extended until such a date. But then once I get to that date, I do change it
Yeah.
because otherwise it's like, oh,
Well,
should
yeah,
I change
yeah,
it?
that's right.
Fair enough.
She never changes it,
Yeah.
but I do.
And there's also in regards to another incentive we were talking about was to redeem something. So if you come if you pay by a certain time, you get a book or a
Yeah.
percentage off the course, or if you pay for the ticket and then you decide that you want to take the 3-day course, we'll give you that money back from that.
Yeah.
So it's really incentivising people, isn't it?
It is. And people, we're in an envious place, I guess, because we can be the masters of our own ship.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
we can
but that
create.
comes with its own stuff too.
Yeah, well, it does. It does. But you can choose. For me, I can choose what I want to give away. Whereas when you're working with a client, the resources may not be so. They may not be there, so
That's
you
fair
have to
enough.
work with them, what they're willing to give away, and how
Are there
they're
any
willing
other
to bend.
incentives that people can look at to give VIP or to give for those early birds?
Yeah, look, I don't think it has to be something that will cost you money.
Right.
It can be simply you get priority entry, you get to sit at the front, you get to have lunch with the speaker. None of that costs you any money. Plus, the people that are VIPs are generally the people that are more engaged, more involved, they've paid more money, they're more likely to buy whatever it is that you're selling.
Very
Plus,
true.
you're giving them more time with yourself, which sounds really good to them.
It
But
does. doesn't
really,
it?
what you're doing is you're giving them more time with you, so you've got more time to win them over.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Marketing.
Method to our madness. Method to our madness.
So yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, go on. You were going to say something?
Yeah, look, with generating business through events, it's all those things. So if you're going out on your very first business event, you're creating your very first business event, it's who you have in the room as well that can contribute to those incentives as well. So if you have, 2 or 3 exhibitors, for example, and you just ask them, you say, could you supply me with a giveaway, or could you, can we raffle something?
Which they're always happy to do.
Yeah, which they're always happy to do.
Raffles are great.
Yeah.
People want to have books. People want to have different things from
Or candles.
books, candles. Yeah, and we've been to a few events lately that have had all those things as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just
Again,
makes you feel
yeah.
special.
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
called up and
Yeah.
you won something you didn't have to buy. So
Yeah.
The other thing I just wanted to discuss as well, which is really important, with the logistics of it, things like the AV, what
Yes.
you were saying.
Yeah, so what I've found is a lot of, first of all, when people start to run events and have never run an event before, questions like, do I need AV? Is a question, and yes, you need AV. If your AV fails, it is the fastest way to break concentration from your event. It puts you as a speaker or organizer under stress. It makes your audience feel like you are incompetent.
Especially if you can't hear them.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't hear them.
Yeah. But also the other part is people do seem to be under the impression, especially with a big venue, that you have to use the AV company that is internal to the venue, and you do not.
No.
And what I have found is using an external AV company will, a lot of the time, it might not save you money, but you will get more bang for buck. They'll have better technicians, better quality equipment, and will be working with you. And especially if you're doing ongoing events. So let's just say you have a yearly conference that you're running. You get an AV company on board externally who is your core supplier. You only have to brief them the once.
And then they're doing all
And
your
then
events
they're
for
doing
you.
all your events for you.
Yep.
So then they know exactly what you need. They know your speakers. They know how to make it look great. And they can work with all of your other event partners to be effective.
Well, it's a bit like me doing this, utilising the same people. They know the drill, they know what's
right.
going on, they know what's
That's
happening.
right.
And it just makes it a lot, yes, thank you. So it just makes it a lot easier for me to do what I do as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, AV
Absolutely.
is paramount to your event, especially like for a big event, paramount to your event success.
The other thing that's really important that people don't always remember is you're having insurance. So sometimes the venue, does the venue's insurance cover you, or do you also need insurance?
Depends on what you're doing.
Depends what you're doing, but
Not the firewalk.
No, but if you're teaching and training,
Right.
then you need to have your professional indemnity insurance
And public liability.
and public liability. Those two. If you're a coach or a trainer, or if you're walking with people, otherwise, if you're doing a fundraiser, then I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the venue, if it is a event venue, will have insurance that will cover for that. But if you're doing any form of teaching or training, then
You definitely need insurance.
Yeah.
So
Look,
make sure that you do, guys.
In any
Check your business
business.
insurance. Yeah, because you need different business insurance to cover you depending on what you're doing. And I'll just say this too, depending on your the IT stuff you're doing in the back end, you might also need a certain IT insurance as well. So that's depending on what you're doing in the back end. And if you need a good business insurance person, let me know. But there's all different types of insurance because of cybercrime too, and things that are happening on the back end.
yeah.
that's right.
The other thing too is FPOS you wanted to mention as well.
This is part of the logistics of an event. You know, if you're running a fundraiser, and you know you can never have too many FPOS machines. We just did a fundraiser again a couple of weeks ago, and the response was amazing. Everybody wanted to buy something. Everybody wanted to contribute, but we only had the one FPOS machine.
Oh, okay.
So it became a little bit of a logistical nightmare to a degree, because everybody wanted to be able to contribute, and the line was
No one wants to wait in a really long
20
time.
deep, but
and you're
they
going to lose people
did.
that way as well.
Yeah, but so here's the thing: if you've got 100 people, always have at least two FPOS machines.
So two
minimum.
FPOS machines
Minimum.
for 100
For 100
people.
people.
One for
minimum.
50 people.
One for 50
least,
people.
minimum,
at least.
minimum,
At least.
minimum.
If you have a tap and
Yeah.
go, that's okay.
That's
That's
great.
so easy.
Like the square card reader.
Or the square
Best
card
thing ever.
reader, yeah. So my advice is that you go and have a look at all the different options that are available, in terms of either having an app on your phone, or I know PayPal has an app that you can download as well.
Yeah, I use that.
Yeah.
Right, that you can just pay straight away,
Yeah.
and
And
it's done.
Stripe does
and
as well.
Stripe.
Yeah.
So
But they
all
still
those
have
options.
A machine that you like.
But
still
you can,
have the,
a physical one
like
is good.
PayPal,
Yeah,
Can
PayPal
you
is-
tap your phone? No, you
No,
still
you
have to have
can't. No, you don't. You can't tap your
You can't
phone,
tap
but
your
you
phone.
can tap your card.
You
on
tap
it.
your card
On
on
your
on
phone?
the app.
No, on this little
on the
machine.
thing. Yeah, that's what I mean. You still have
Yeah.
to have the machine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And,
But
and
it's in
the
very
square
small.
one's a little
yeah,
square.
it is. Yeah.
yeah.
Just
So-
because it sounded like to me what you were saying was you can just have PayPal on your phone.
No,
And then
no,
people can come
no,
and tap
no. It's
your
called
phone.
it's called PayPal here.
Yeah.
And you've got a
PayPal
little
here.
machine,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
you
Same as the
Bluetooth
square
it into
card reader.
yeah, you Bluetooth it into
Bluetooth
your
it.
phone.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not just the phone.
But
No,
what
no.
you do is you go back to, you go to your Officeworks or your JB Hi-Fi, you look it up online and
And you
find
buy it.
what's going
Yeah.
to be the most effective and useful.
Yeah.
But also
one for
too,
you.
make sure of a couple of things. Check with each one, check the percentages as well, because different ones charge different percentages. And also make sure of the Wi-Fi in your, or if you don't have a lot of data on your phone, make sure of the Wi-Fi in the place in the venue as well. Because if their Wi-Fi isn't working,
Yes.
you need to use the data on your phone for it. So you need to make sure what's working and what's not. Yeah, technology is a huge thing. This is why I say, like, in business and in life, you need, well, I'll say it in a moment anyway, but you do need a sense of humour. Because we even, no matter what event you go to, technology can fail you. So you need to make sure you've got backups as well. When I was doing expos, what I would do is I would have my phone, I would have the PayPal, then I would have 3 batteries, like 3 of those batteries that you plug your phone into, and you can plug your, I could have plugged the PayPal here into as well, just in case any one of them failed or anyone didn't work or anyone drained. I had backups for backups for backups. And then I had cords, extra cords in there as well. And I actually, this is a really good idea for any event, is have a list, a checklist, because every time you do your event
toolkit.
yeah, you'll refine it as well. So what I did is I had a box and everything was in that box. And I take it all out, go through my list, tick, 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 yep, got it, put it back in, put it back in, put it back in. And it was so easy.
Yeah.
The first few times it's not easy because you've got to think what you need. And every time you remember, even things like Tic Tacs,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
or Tic Tacs,
Totally.
or
Whatever
just
that is for you.
whatever it might be. I'm a migraine sufferer, so I'll make sure there's Panadol or something in there
Yep.
too. So water that
Scissors.
you need as well, scissors,
Tape.
You know what?
Safety
else?
pins.
everything. Yeah, no,
We're talking
definitely.
about being ready when we're talking about your actual presentation slides.
Yeah, yeah.
They are something that can go wrong for you. So my
Extra
recommendation.
USBs, yes? No? No? Okay.
Would you like to? And
That's all I got.
you can Google Slides so that you can have it already online and in the cloud. You can have it on your laptop. You can have your extra USBs. You can send it to the venue
That's a good
beforehand.
idea too,
So
yeah.
that, well, you want all of that.
Yeah.
If you have all of that, then the possibility of failure is a lot less.
So for everything that you do, have backups for backups.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Really,
you have
really
to.
important.
So,
You
like,
have
I've
to.
literally gone to do a presentation thinking that there was a projector and a screen there, and there wasn't. And I had my presentation on Google Slides. I had everybody in the room open up
Yeah.
Google Slides. I sent them all a link, and they were with me.
Oh,
and it was
cool.
actually a really
Wow.
interactive talk because it was like, next slide, and then everybody was like. And I completely engaged people. Nobody was disengaged because at no point could they look at anywhere but either at me or at the next slide.
That's
so,
a really
That's a
great
great
tip.
tip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a
because
great tip,
as
Anna.
a speaker, you want your slides to work.
yeah. You also
Yeah.
want to be able to present without your slides in case they don't work.
Yes, true.
But yeah, having that as a backup is really super
Yeah.
important.
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Thank you for that. That was just
all right.
absolutely brilliant. Just before I ask if you want to add anything, do we have any questions at all?
Just
No?
comments.
Fantastic.
Just
Are they
comments.
good comments?
They're very good
Are
comments.
people
Oh,
being
good.
very
Do you want to read
lovely?
some out? They can hear you.
So Annie said that at Josie's last event, she was the speaker and she finished her piece with a poem. And she said the DJ was awesome. He added a really nice piece of music in the background
Oh.
and made the poem even more impactful.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's true.
Yeah,
If you can, do you want to just stand up just a little bit closer to the back there? Just so we can hit. Just yeah, that's it. Come just a bit closer there.
Come closer.
Go on. Okay, go on.
Deanna said thank you, Debbie, for another great live show, and she loves
My
to see
pleasure.
how you create
Ah.
a great atmosphere and you talk about all the important topics.
Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you. If I'm not having fun, it's not worth it. You've got to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys must have gone through everything because there's no questions, which is brilliant. But is there anything you want to add?
I just would like to add that, you know, creating events and getting business out of events is something that both Anna and I can help people with. And we can sit with you and we can plan it out and show you all the steps.
Well, I'll go through.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
go through that. But that's, to me, that is, you know, having you guys do that is absolutely wonderful too, and give you the tips too is really fantastic as well. And as these ladies said, you know, they do this. They do this in a little bit differently for both of them, but they both do it really, really well, and they cover all the things that we don't realise you need to cover, which is really important.
What I would like to really say is, let's not think about events as a one-off. People think, I just want to run an event, but realistically, I really like to reposition the thinking that it is an event marketing strategy
To help build your brand.
implemented into your business. That's right, and then it's executed with one event at a time. And you know what? It's not easy. It's never going to be easy, and your first few events are going to be harder.
Yeah.
So just being really mindful and aware that if you make a decision that I'm going to run events as part of my business strategy, it's just like making a decision on I'm going to do Facebook advertising as part of my business strategy, or I'm going to do email marketing or cold, whatever that is. Yeah. We don't just do it once and say it doesn't work for us. So it really is around being as prepared as we can be, but also with the forethought that this is something I'm going to do as a growth strategy, both for myself and for my business.
I like
great.
And then I'm going to
it's good.
commit to making it happen.
And also too, just quickly, we were also saying that, you know, if you've got too many of the same event running in a year, you may not be able to fill it because you may need to actually have more months between them or more time between them.
About that. I know people that have, as you grow, your events grow. I know people that have been running the same event for the last 6 or 7 years, and you know what? In the last year, they've tripled the amount of events that they run rather than reduced because
So everything is trial and error.
there's traction in the marketplace.
No, that's fair enough too.
You know, the more demand, the more.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ladies, thank you so much for that. And I want to say a big thank you to my friend Josie Kearsey, Events Director. Now, just to let you guys all know that Josie has an event coming up on the 27th of February called Metamorphosis, which I was just writing down beforehand is International Women's Day, because I didn't know that. And if you would like tickets to these guys, go to secretbusiness.net, put the code in, Secret Girls Business.
.net.
What did I say?
Secret business.
Oh, sorry. I have Secret Girls Business. See, it's so secret that I'm not even saying it right.
Can't even talk about it.
Secretgirlsbusiness.net. That's what I've got down.
Yeah.
And put the code in DWD Live. That's DWD Live. And your ticket will be $145 instead of $200, which is a saving of $55. So it's DWD Live. We got that?
We got that.
And
Up
also
there in the
too, any future events that you would like to attend of Josie's, check out our website, secretgirlsbusiness.net, or check out also klassevents.com. Any future events at all, just give her a call or contact her, mention Business Dining with Deb, and you will receive a discount. Okay, so that's any of her events.
Yeah.
Mention us and you will receive a discount on that. So how can people get in touch with you?
Look, probably the easiest way is I'm on social media. So
Social media, guys.
LinkedIn,
Facebook.
Facebook, my Secret Girls Business
Or
page.
you can contact me and I can get you in touch with Josie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime, that's fine.
Yeah.
And a big thank you to Anna Osherov, event marketing expert, who also has an amazing deal for our viewers as well. If you've got no idea, which so many don't, and it's okay, you're normal and in the masses, how to do an event landing page that actually converts, which is really, really important, I think. Anna will do a 30-minute event strategy session with you, design and build your 2-page landing page together with a thank you page. All you have to do is contact her, mention Business Dining with Deb, and you will receive a 20% discount together with your event landing page. So guys, make sure that you contact Anna or contact me, I'll give you her details, and she'll do it all for you. You don't need to do it.
I love it.
Wow.
You need to give the information.
Yeah.
You need to give the information.
Yeah.
You need to have the strategy session.
I won't make it up. I'm
Telepathize. But all the back end stuff, you know, the stuff that stops you doing that event landing page, she'll organise that for you, and at 20% off. If you mention Business Dining with Deb, she will do that for you. And how can people get in touch with you?
Social media.
Yeah.
Social media.
Social media.
Or you
Or
can
get in touch with.
Or you can get in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with Anna. I want to thank Nikki for helping me taking our comments and for filming at the back end and making sure everything's going really, really smoothly. I want to thank our sponsor, Chef Thomas Dam. He's done an amazing job over here.
Nothing left.
From Damn Good, which is DAMMGOOD.com.au. And again, he is in Melbourne, but he travels overseas and he travels interstate. He does really big functions, small functions, and everything in between. Date nights with your partner and everything in between.
Really?
Absolutely.
He joins you
The
on date night with your
food.
I thought he went on date night. Sorry.
Guys, if you do want amazing food for your events coming up, give Thomas Chef Dam a call or speak to me and I'll put you in touch. And I also want to thank our sponsor, Clinton Weir. From pineapplejam.com.au. And again, Clinton is from Melbourne but travels overseas and interstate, and he also does really big events, small events, and everything in between as well.
But
and
no date nights.
no date
No
nights.
date nights. No drinks. No date nights.
And guys, yeah.
The ice that you put in at the start
You
is
see?
actually still in the glass.
Yeah, Navy
And
Street.
I really wanted
fantastic.
to understand why.
Yeah.
There was
Now we know what
still-
Navy Strength is.
Navy
Now we
Strength
know.
ice still in there. Thanks.
So you know what? Even if you wanted great drinks, great food, you've got the both of them that you can actually hide together as well, which is fabulous. Now,
Cool.
thank you guys. Now my name's Debbie Small, and I'm the
Now they
founder.
can see you.
Oh.
There you go.
My name's Debbie Small, and I'm the founder of Empowerment Point, and I want to thank you for watching Empowerment Point TV, Business Dining with Deb, Business Treats and Takeaways. You can watch more of our episodes on my YouTube channel, Empowerment Point TV, and once this is over, we'll be loading this within a few days as well. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Empowerment Point TV, you'll find out when future episodes come on board as well. If you'd like to have a chat with me about your business and to see how to better the foundations of your business, or anything else in regards to your business that I may be able to help you with, please contact me at hello@empowermentpoint.com and I can help you with that. And also you can go on to Facebook, Debbie Small, Empowerment Point is my business page, and you can put yourself on there and you'll know when the next events are happening and when the next Business Dining with Deb is happening as well, coming back next year. Now, just to let you know, this is our last episode for 2019. So I wanted to wish on behalf of everyone here too, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy Hanukkah,
Cheers, everybody.
and a fantastic New Year as well. And we do look forward to seeing you back next year too. So thank you for that. And remember, in life and in business, you need persistence and a great sense of humour. So keep moving forward. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye. See ya. Bye.
Bye.